Hey, what's up, everybody? You are tuning in to the Not Nobody podcast. With me, as always, is Chevy Cheekz and Esco. Today, we have a special guest in the building virtually, Seattle's very own Sam Lachow, the first headliner to sell out Seattle's Neptune Theater, co-headline a 29-city national tour, and rock the main stage at Washington's biggest festival, Sasquatch. Sam's EP, Friends, Funk, and Liquor, debuted at number 2 on iTunes hip-hop charts. Welcome to the podcast.
Yo, thanks so much. I never got a cool intro like that. That was epic.
Sammy Huckleberry, baby.
Really appreciate it.
Yes, sir. What have you been up to these days in quarantine life?
Every day I've been walking my dog. I've been struggling to stay sane. I've been working on a lot of new music, which is good. That's keeping me going. And a whole lot of not shit. What about you?
Yeah, we've been trying to, like you, stay sane during quarantine. It really threw a wrench in our 2020 plans.
Yeah, interviews got a lot harder.
Man.
Interviews
I've
just
been
got
drinking a lot of water, though.
There you go.
Check it out. This is my new water bottle.
I've got one of those giant guys.
There we go.
What's your goal every day?
Just drink a fuck ton of water. Yeah, man, I had a whole bunch of shows cancel, a whole tour cancel. So we definitely lost a lot of money, but it's been a nice time to kind of just work on new shit.
That's what I was going to say. It's probably freed you up a lot of time to hop back in.
And hang out with your dog.
Yeah, it's been great.
So
I can't lie. Yeah.
So for someone who's not very familiar, for someone who's joining new, how'd you get started? What was your start for the Sam Lachow Story?
I started when I was real young, influenced by rap music and pop music, and started just kind of writing songs in my head. And then I got maybe a little bit of lucky, right place, right time. It was right when Mac started becoming a thing. I'm old, and GarageBand came out. Yep. And all of a sudden I had this way to put my thoughts onto something, in an easy way. So I started a group in high school called Shankbone. We made a bunch of CDs and sold them throughout the school in the hallways between class, and actually started making some money. And then it started spreading to other schools. We started selling out shows. And then I went off to college and started my solo thing.
That's pretty cool. Hustling out the backpack.
And for burning CDs and going to Kinko's, getting them pressed and shit.
And for those that don't know, you're also a producer, songwriter, videographer, director, editor. Where's kind of your, is it a focal point, or is it just kind of when all the pieces come together, that's when you really shine?
Yeah.
Where do you have fun?
Well, what my backup plan was being a video guy. I was making music videos for different artists around New York and Seattle. And that was sort of my plan. I went to school for film a little bit, but then my music started to make me more money than my film was, and I had more fun making videos for my own stuff.
Sure.
So at a certain point, I was able to stop working for other people and only work for myself.
That's cool.
And I think they all just sort of go together. I'm just trying to make art and express something, and a feeling, an emotion, whether that's with video. Music seems to be my favorite medium for it, but I'd love to make films one day, get back into the video shit. I don't know.
We saw you've been doing like those quarantine videos. You just did like a recent video where you answered like frequently asked questions. Mm-hmm. And so was that like your backyard? You just set up the camera or something, like where you're at?
Yeah, my girl has a bunch of plants, and we took out all of her plants from the room, and
it was a nice
it up
setup.
like some weird like Amazon state throne thing. And yeah, I'm trying to do more shit like that. I'm kind of uncomfortable like talking to the camera and vlogging, but right. I hear the more you do it, the more comfortable you get. So
sure.
For sure.
The more content, the better, they say these days.
What do you use camera-wise? I'm a videographer, so that's
nice. I use a Lumix GH something. I don't remember which kind. It's a good camera, though. And then I usually use Nikon lenses.
Oh, okay, cool. And then you edit those yourself, too?
Yeah. I used to be a better editor than I am now. I haven't been on Final Cut in a long time, but I know the basics.
I think that's kind of the beauty of you having that video background. It helps you kind of pick your style, because we were talking a lot of what you do is it's got a fun vibe, but it really connects with your music. Like your visuals also, the cohesiveness with the videos is always just spot on with it. You can
That's
just tell you have
awesome.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah, especially during this time. I mean, you can't really link up with people. So the fact that you can like pretty much do it all is pretty spot on.
Yeah. Oh, that's huge. And I've been able to work with people on new music because
Sure.
everyone has their own home studio set up.
Right.
Mhm.
So I tell them what I need. They send me their tracks back. You know, it's been good.
Yeah. Speaking of that frequently asked question, I died laughing when the question was, why the fuck haven't you blown up yet? I was like, I died because I was like, normally artists would never say that.
I get that question all the time, and it's like kind of offensive to me.
You know,
because I'm doing fine. I'm like,
Right.
what do you think that like?
You set out what you wanted to do
Right.
was make money by just
Yeah,
to live.
it's like it's kind of belittling what I've done.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. Like artists, I feel like would never like even talk about that. You know what I mean? But I thought it was funny how like you brought it to light.
Yeah, that's cool. that you did.
Yeah, I got a pretty good sense of like where I'm at. Like I don't know. I can make fun of myself. I've been in the game a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of kind of transitioning a little bit, I actually saw you all the way back. I think it was in like 2011 or 12 when you were in Cincinnati opening for Hoodie Allen out in, it was like their summer concert series.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's the first time I had actually heard and seen you at the same time. And even back then, I remember that was when I got on and I was like, who is this dude? And on the drive home, we were listening to your music and stuff because we're from Indy. So like we had to drive 2 hours to that show.
Awesome. Yeah, that show is huge for us. We picked up a lot of new fans from it, I remember.
Yeah, I mean, if I remember right, there was like over 5,000 people there.
It was insane. It was like, yeah, I think at that point it was by far the most people we'd ever performed for. And it was just like a bunch of little white girls going crazy. It was such an easy show. All we had to do was say, make some noise. And then you go, ah!
Yeah, so I mean, like, clearly you have a lot of experience and stuff. What has been something over these years that has really stood out to you, whether it's like something that maybe has happened that people don't know about when you were on tour? Just like, what's like a memory that's really stuck with you?
I mean, probably just all you only remember the bad shows, the shows that go really bad. And at the time it's miserable, but then after it's just the most hilarious shit to talk about with your homies. Like we have some disaster stories that I'll never forget. I can't think of like the best ones. Here's the first one that comes up to me right now. We would always do this little gimmick where I have this song where I say, in one part of the song, I say, I don't like the Seattle police. I said, I don't like the Seattle police. And then in every city we were at, we would swap Seattle for whatever city we were at.
Oh,
But here, I couldn't figure out how to pronounce it. And it was a place called Peoria, which has like
Illinois, Peoria, Illinois.
I was just like, and I pronounced it pewtery. I was like, I don't like the pewtery police. I don't like the pewtery police. John and I, my DJ, just looked at each other and started dying. It was just and we didn't ever like come back from that.
I think I saw an artist do the same thing. So he was in the city and he was doing a freestyle and then accidentally saying fuck the city that he was in, and he was like, oh god damn it, that's not what I meant to do.
Stuff like that is classic.
But just speaking about how Berkey found you, I found you. So how I got connected with your music was 80 Bars. I mean, that has to be one of the most. You say you don't like tend to go viral, but that has to be one of the biggest parts that really boosted, showed off your talent, showed off your skill.
I guess in a way that is the most sort of like virally thing I've ever done.
Yeah, I remember we just watched. When you came out with part 1, part 2, we watched that over and over. I would get my buddies together, and that would be like the end of the night party. It would be the come down. We would play that on.
Yeah, it's
got to be the best marketing, the best idea to throw it all in there to show off your talent.
Yeah, it wasn't a viral idea at all. It was something that just sounded really fun for me to do. It was all just my favorite beats that I grew up with that I've always just been jealous that like, why don't I rap on those? And then Lil Wayne was making all those mixtapes, but it would always kind of piss me off. Like they were so good and classic, but then it always bugged me when he would just kind of use the same flow of the original song.
Right.
And I was like, what if someone used them all and made their own flows up for each beat and did something totally new with it? And it was just something I thought would be fun, you know?
Yeah, they really are like a little mixtape.
Yeah, that is my form of a mixtape.
And
exactly.
You just gotta love how you completely like your flow on each beat is something that you would not expect. Like how you come up with what you're gonna do on each beat is so unique. I think that's why everyone really took to it, other than just watching and enjoying your energy in those videos too.
The people I'm inspired by, I'm all about flow. So I try to think of the coolest flow first. Like Andre 3000 and Notorious B.I.G.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're a Biggie guy.
Yeah, masters of flow, and I'm also a drummer, so I kind of think of rhythmic patterns, which helps me with my flow, you know.
Yeah, sorry, you can go.
Yeah, that's cool. I was like, Esco was telling me about that today, that you were a drummer, and I was like, do we know that for sure? Do we know that? Because I don't want to bring it up. Because I
mean, I'm a self-taught drummer. I'm not very good because I haven't played in so long, but it's helped me with my production, and you know.
Yeah,
that's
dude.
Kind of where I started.
That's sick. I drummed in high school and I was in the drum line in college and stuff. So like I can appreciate when like producers or like rappers, any musician, like you can honestly tell when someone is like just rhythmically gifted. You know what I mean? So it's like we can tell that you in your flow, like you said, you know what I mean? And I'm not trying to like throw.
Fully if you played like I played snare drum in a marching band.
Oh yeah, for sure, dude. Yeah, so did I. That's what I played. So
and that's basically a rap flow.
Yeah, literally.
That's how you pick and choose right there. You hear
That's cool, dude. I'm glad that you think about it like that. That's really cool instead of just like, well, I just like think about words and just do what I can. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll get on the mic and freestyle kind of like basically like snare drum patterns, like fills.
Right.
See what pattern fits the beat best, and that's kind of my writing process.
Now, I hate to do this, but I've got to ask. So you have such a collection of them. Which one's your favorite out of the 80 bars? If you want to say part 2, part 6, that's okay. Those are my favorites. Let me know.
I think
one that stands out to you that you were just like, damn, that was
part 3 and part 5.
Okay.
Part 5 was my favorite.
Yeah, I knew. I figured it was going to be.
Yeah.
You said part 5.
Part 3, I just love how it's just us taking out the trash for no reason in the beginning.
Yeah.
And one of your buddies ends up walking into a pole. Is that part 3 or something like that? And you catch him going on.
We were just having so much fun. Like that was just a really fun time in my life. And then part 5, I just think has all the Andre Nicotina shit. So,
yeah. So I heard you mention in the video that you have an all original 80 bars coming up.
Yeah. I think we're gonna call it like 80 bars part X or something.
Oh, that's dope.
It doesn't really fit in with the other ones. It's very different, you know. I mean, obviously it's gonna be different when I don't get to just pick out all of my like most famous favorite beats, you know. So, but it's really interesting and it's cool.
What's this is just random, but what's a beat right now that you've heard recently where you're like, oh wow, that has stuck out to me?
That's a good question. I don't hear that much in rap that like really inspires me, like as much as like Pharrell did and Timbaland did, and
sure.
Like, are there any producers that are like doing like visionary shit like that? Like Tyler the Creator, kinda.
Right. Yeah, his stuff is the stuff he's creating now is just on a level.
I used to work for Kanye to make stuff, but his stuff lately hasn't been inspiring me. So
I like what Mike Dean does for Travis Scott. It's not like rhythmic, but like synth pads. Yeah. His synth pads are always crazy.
Oh man, I mean, yeah, like I know it's like so overplayed and cliche, but Sicko Mode inspired the fuck out of me. Mm-hmm. That was the beat switch and just how much work they put into that, just how sonically pleasing that song was.
You just have to admire what they did with that.
Yeah, and I just loved the idea of just switching up the beat fully and it still being like a mainstream song. That's so cool. No one does that.
Right. It's cool that like now because of quarantine, like producers are doing these battles now. You know what I mean? Where it's like it's opening up these kids who just hop on IG Live and like didn't even know. You know what I mean? Like it was Scott Storch and I forget who the other guy was. But it was like kids didn't even know like all these tracks that like those producers made. You know what I mean? It's just crazy.
Yeah, Scott Storch was like going through his catalog or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was just
that's amazing. He has the craziest catalog.
yeah.
So if the current beats and everything like that aren't really inspiring, where are you drawing your inspiration from for your beats and for even something like 15 Pennies?
Yeah, it's still sort of all like the same music that I kind of grew up on, you know, there's and then I try to keep growing with the times, but still keeping, you know, my sort of funky, more soulful melodies. And, you know, I still take a lot from folk music. That's sort of a folk melody in 15 Pennies.
Yes.
So I'm constantly just trying to like blend in the old with the new and keep it me, you know?
And I think
I think 15 Pennies sounds very old and old timey, but it also sounds pretty new and inventive. I think it, and that's what I'm trying to go for. And we don't always hit that sound, but that's what I'm chasing.
Yeah, I think it really combined a lot of what you just said. And the other thing too that I was talking about earlier while we're on 15 Pennies and stuff, I was talking earlier and I was saying like Sam loves to do collabs with people. I think that's like awesome because I think a lot of artists are really like cautious with how often they do collabs, but I feel like if you have a beat or something and you hear someone on it, like you're not afraid to just have someone on it. You know what I mean?
And that's
dude, yeah, collabs I think are what make it so interesting.
Yeah, it just takes it to a new level.
Yeah, and that's one of my skills is sort of hiring my weaknesses, figuring out where I won't sound as good here. This guy would sound better, and you know, I just want to make the best song possible. I don't care if it means I'm on it a lot or a little. You know?
You know that you're just through your music, you like to surround yourself with people who are like-minded and love collaborating to put a project together.
Yeah, and I like having variety.
Exactly.
Like I get bored of my own voice. I want to new.
That's cool to hear, especially in this day. Like you don't hear musicians, especially rappers, say they get tired of their own voice. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. And so many albums that come out nowadays, it's like it's their verse. All three verses sound the same.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, besides like you got the rare like J. Cole's, but it's like other than that, it's we want features. If you see an album, you're like, who is on it? You know, like you jump to the Travis Scott feature immediately.
I mean, I think J. Cole's albums suffer because it doesn't have features. I know it's supposed to be cool that he has no features, but no, put something cool on it. Why not?
Getting a hot take from Sam Lachow. Love it. Yeah. So if there's one thing, you know, that you definitely have grown as an artist, producer, video director. There are things that you've seen your progression. Has there been a project that you realize you hit a new high that in your career you were just like, this is I've progressed to the next level. This is the next level.
No, I haven't hit it yet. I don't think. The album I'm about to put out is by far my best work to me. But it's still, I'm always trying to get better. I don't think I'll ever really put out, you know, what I consider my masterpiece or like my favorite body of work. I'm always going to be hopefully excited for the next one. I'm always just looking for the next one.
Right. Yeah, we kind of got a sneak peek. I won't leak anything or say anything, but we kind of got a sneak peek to kind of what was upcoming. And
oh, nice.
Yeah, and one of them, I don't want to say anything.
You like them?
Yeah, your manager gave us 3 tracks.
You liked them?
Yes. Yeah, the one I won't
favorite.
Oh, that's amazing to hear.
Yeah,
we haven't really shown anyone.
Yeah, I have like one favorite, and I won't say anything like that spoils it or anything, but it has.
You can. I don't care.
The one that has the intro on it where he's like, I need $100, and then he's like, I have a 20. That song goes hard.
Yeah, that's a drug song. Oh, that song, we took inspiration from Sicko Mode. You hear how the beat switches up?
Are we? Yeah. So that's what I was gonna say, but I didn't know if that's what you were going for. But I absolutely love the fact that it switches up like that.
Yeah,
production is nice.
That was fully inspired by Sicko Mode.
So can you give us the track title? I mean, we know it, but are we allowed to?
The track title is Chemical. you might not have the right
Yeah,
title.
that wasn't
Okay.
what it was.
Yeah, that's just, the name of the beat was Post, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that song's gonna be called Chemical.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. Yeah, we listened to that today and we were like, dang, that is freaking nice. It was real cool.
Nice.
I think that one and 10 Feet Tall I really liked.
I love
enjoyed
10 Feet Tall.
Yeah, that one hit home for me, and just at the entrance of it.
It was a really genuine song.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
And thanks for, you or your manager sharing that with us. That was really cool to get on.
Yeah, I was glad he did that.
Yeah, so with all that in mind, so like what does the overall project, what's kind of like the theme, what were you going for with this new project, and when can people expect it?
Well, there's a lot of how I always try to have my albums. There's a lot of variety. I try to keep it well balanced with, the bangers, the heartfelt shit. And no song sounds like another song. Like front to back, you'll be very entertained. Just with, even if you don't like the song, just entertained at what we were trying to do. The ideas are all pretty out there and pretty interesting. Yeah, and content-wise, it's a little weird because I made it. Well, like the beginning of the process, I was getting fucked up all the time, and then by the end, I was trying to get sober, and then I got sober and sort of cleaned up the rest of the project with a clear mind. So it has a sort of.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. That's been something I've been going through, and it's it's kind of a weird. This project was so much growth for me. Like I'll remember this time in my life as forever,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. So how long have you been sober, if you don't mind us asking?
So July 28th of last year. So
Wow.
yeah, I did the whole, I had to go all out. I made a full vlog on it. You can check out where I detail everything. It's called Drugs, Alcohol, and How I Got Sober, Sam Lachow. And it's like 10 minutes long. It's a good listen, though, for anyone who wants to hear.
Yeah, we'll definitely put that in there. And we'll put it in the show notes, too.
Yeah, we'll pass that along for sure. So kind of switching gears slightly,
Yep.
I have a whole list of questions here, but I'll back up. So quarantine canceled a lot of stuff. Were there any tours planned? And if not, side question as well, if you could make a tour with anyone on your tour lineup, who would you want to bring along with you?
Like anyone ever? Or
current. We'll do current.
current, but you're not just my friends, like
anyone.
Yeah, like artists to open up, things like that.
Who would I love to tour with?
Yeah, my bad.
I would love to. That's a good question.
I think it depends on the vibe of what you've been creating a little bit too.
Yeah, and like which audience? I mean, there's a lot that goes in that question. Like from a fan standpoint, I would love to like tour with Outkast or something.
Oh, for sure.
But from a business standpoint, I should probably maybe tour with someone like Watsky would be tight.
Oh, huh.
Or like who's popping that have a similar fan base to me. I don't know. You got any ideas?
I think Travis Thompson could be cool.
Travis Thompson would be sick.
Yeah, I've toured with him before. We had a blast. He's the homie.
And then were there any tours that you had planned that Corona kind of jacked up, or were you just kind of laying low?
Yeah, we had to cancel it was a West Coast tour.
Took a deep breath on that one. RIP that tour.
No, I had 2 sold out shows that we had to cancel, so we definitely lost a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
But it's caused us to sort of figure out how to make money without performing. So that's been cool, and luckily I do okay. So we're surviving. We're hanging in there, and luckily I made the album before this, so like I had already funded the album.
Well, that's good.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, I don't know how we would have been able to fund this thing with no tours. Tours are how you make most of your money.
Right.
For any upcoming creators that have been in the field, there's a moment that stood out that made you think that this is it, like this is what it's worth it. Like, I'm creating music, even going through some of these tough times that you're just like, this is what I want to do. This is what I've been doing. Like, has there been a moment that stood out? That was like this?
The beginning of that question, has there been a moment where I realized this is what I want to do?
Yep. That's like you hit it and you're like, this is my path.
I mean, I have a few memories, like when we performed our band in high school. We did our first performance and we didn't think anyone would come, and it was full and everyone knew every word. That's when I realized.
That's really cool.
That's when I realized, like, oh, we're actually making something that, like, this is making people happy. They're not like, they weren't just coming because they were our friends. They were like kids from our school that we didn't know. And yeah, that's when I realized that we're doing something that people actually enjoy. But then since then, it's just been a really slow grind. There hasn't been like one moment. And also I was doing a bunch of drugs. So when good things would happen, I would just kind of be like, whatever. I was kind of cocky back in the day. I've humbled out definitely, because, those drugs took a toll on me and I had to get my shit together. But yeah, I hope that answers your question a little bit.
Yeah. It'll help.
That's cool, man. Yeah. Thanks for explaining that, especially for people who maybe like haven't been following forever. It's like, it's cool that you're very honest and open, because that's obviously, like, we all know, like, that's prevalent in music, is like drugs and alcohol and partying and stuff like that. So
yeah, I try not to give advice, but all I can do is tell my truth and tell what I've been through.
Yep.
And hope to inspire and other people.
Yeah. So that's cool that, like, people can see someone like you who's like, you didn't give up partying and then give up your dreams. You know what I mean? It's like you said, basically, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you were like, you feel like you're more focused in now. Like, there's different songs you want to make because you're not on these drugs. You're not as cocky. And
yeah, I mean, I would still be doing all the drugs and the drinking if it didn't start to ruin my life. I got sober out of necessity. And then I had to sort of relearn how to do everything without drugs and alcohol. And that's been a really beautiful thing, is realizing it's possible without that stuff, and kind of getting back to my old passion that I started with,
For sure.
It helps making music. I mean, your music is, even the tracks that we heard are definitely deeper, more connected to yourself and where you are now. I think that you've been taking you can hear it in your music of you and where you are in a place.
Yeah, I think so too, because not knowing like that backstory, I was even talking earlier that like it just has seemed like the new music that you've been putting out, especially just in 2020, has seemed like kind of next level in like maturity and overall vibe. It just seems like it's like the next step up.
That's amazing to hear, man. That's all I want, is for it to feel like it's evolving. As long as I'm growing, then I'm having fun,
Yeah, I really think that it does. So now that kind of everything is how it is for you and everything, does that change your creative process? Or like for something like, just because it was newly released, like something like 15 Pennies, what does the creative process look like for you? Because I know like a lot of artists, like they'll get high and then make a beat or something like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, so how's your creative process?
Well, no, the thing is, it's all that stuff, that that creativity is all in there. You just have to access it. Drugs and alcohol make it easier to access quickly, but with patience, you can get, if you get out of your own way, it might just take a little longer, but you'll eventually get in that creative zone that almost feels like you're on drugs.
You got to get out of that placebo.
Yeah, like sometimes I'll wake up after a night of getting a lot of work done, and I'll think for a sec that I relapsed, because I was like, oh, I was up till 5 a.m. last night working on music. I must have been on cocaine. I was like, oh no, I guess I wasn't. So it's something you have to work at, but there's ways to, access it. It's kind of a spiritual thing. Sure. There's a book I can recommend called The Artist's Way, for anyone who's trying to figure out how to work on art without substances. That helped me a lot.
Oh, that's cool.
Writing it down.
Yeah, so maybe, here's a question not related to music. So, like, what's something that you've been doing? It doesn't have to be necessarily during quarantine, but, like, what does Sam Lachow do other than music? Like, what do you do to...
What's that daily life now?
Yeah.
That's a good question, man. It's been kind of pathetic. I've been eating a lot.
If it's anything like us, we're staying home, so you're good.
I know. I take my dog to the park like over and over again. What else do I do? There's not much to do. I play tennis.
That's cool.
Yeah, I
I'm
did
not
see
very
that.
good. I'm not very good, but I have my friend who lives near me who's just as bad as me, so we have fun. I play basketball. I watch a lot of movies. I'm a big movie buff.
What favorite movie? Gotta
Yeah.
go.
Give us top 3 or something.
Top 3.
What's
yeah,
looking
that's
like in your
hard.
collection? Yeah. What's in your collection?
I have my favorite movies. I always say One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. It's a brilliant movie.
Yes. Fantastic.
Love it. Yeah, I'll say that for now. Favorite movie I've seen recently? Let me think. One I watched last night was pretty dope, called Vivarium. Check it out.
What was that on?
It's crazy. You have to rent it on Amazon right now for like $4 or something.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
What is it?
It's like some
Sci-fi?
Twilight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like some Twilight Zone type of shit.
Gotcha.
It's like mystery. It's kind of sci-fi. It's dope.
Little bit of Black Mirror-ish.
Very Black Mirror.
Good. Yep, I'm checking it out then. That's
So
on the list.
You've been tuned in. If you have, give us your opinion. Tiger King, go.
Hold on.
Yeah. I definitely watched it all. I mean, I couldn't not.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. It just kind of made me depressed.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
It's weird. You
I
get
think
done and you're like, what?
something I heard that cracked me up was that Carol Baskin thought they were making like a documentary on like her being a saint. And now the whole world thinks that she killed somebody. Like, it just cracks me up that that totally backfired. She looked so happy in the documentary, and then when she saw it,
I just saw a video that went out that it was these two kids. They were pretending to be part of Jimmy Fallon's late night show, and they called her up, put her on the interview, and they had recorded Jimmy's like catchphrases and some of his questions. And so they would actually play like him talking. They said, "Sorry, Carol, you can't see Jimmy, but he can see you." And she went through her first interview since the Tiger King, and they got her. They literally got her.
oh my god!
So definitely go on YouTube, watch that video. It's hilarious.
It's out.
Oh, it's out. It's on YouTube. I watched it this morning.
Oh, I can't wait.
yeah.
Yes, that's amazing.
So check it. They got her.
Yeah, I think they all felt misled because I know the one dude that
Ooh, I can't wait to watch that.
that was trying to ruin Joe Exotic. That dude felt like he was misrepresented too.
Yeah, I saw the little after thing that they
Yeah.
made. You know.
Yeah,
That
with
dude was
Joel
weird.
McHale, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, hot take alert. Did she do it? Carol Baskin, did she do it?
I personally don't think she did it. That just sounds crazy.
I think you're the first person I've heard who
yeah.
doesn't think she did it.
I think she knows more than she's saying.
Right.
Right.
He seemed like just too smart a dude, and she, I don't know. It takes a lot to kill somebody.
Right. That's a good take, though. I mean, honestly, like what you're saying makes sense because that's what my thing is. Like, it's easy to.
It's fun to say she did it.
Right.
I just, in my heart of hearts, don't really think so.
Right. It's like, I don't know.
You were really connecting with these characters while you were watching them. You were like, you know what? She didn't. No, she's probably a good person, guys. Come on.
Yeah, giving her.
I don't
the
think she's a
benefit of
good
the doubt.
person.
Yeah. Well.
I just don't think she's a murderer necessarily.
So
Sure.
have you been preparing for your live stream coming up? Live stream concert.
A little bit. There's only so much you can do. It's
what is
gonna
the
be.
process for this.
I mean, we're kind of like rehearsing from our separate areas, like just picking out the song list. It's fun because we'll have a lot of time, and I don't have like an audience to entertain the whole time, so I can kind of just chill out and relax, and we'll take requests.
Yeah, you have 90 minutes, don't you?
Yeah. I probably won't remember a lot of the lyrics to my old songs, but I'll just freestyle it, make it work. It could be a disaster. It might be tight. So tune in. I have no idea.
Yeah, just don't do a freestyle where you curse out whatever town that you're in or whatnot.
Oh, exactly.
But yeah, is it for a fundraiser or?
It's for funding basically the venues that are all struggling.
Oh, that's cool.
awesome.
What's your?
So yeah, I think half of it goes to the venue and half goes to us. And I do want to do something with the money that we get because maybe we'll think of something to give it to.
For sure. What's your favorite venue you've ever performed at?
Oh man, I'll say Numos. I love playing Numos. It's just all our shows there have been insane. And then probably Showbox because it's just so classic.
And
the Seattle.
With that in mind, is there, obviously Seattle's probably one of your favorite places to do a show. Is there anywhere else that you love performing at?
I love performing in New York. I love performing in Denver, Colorado, anywhere in Montana, Spokane, lots of places I'm forgetting, but
not Indiana.
Those are some of my main markets.
Yeah.
We're in Indiana, so not in Indiana. Yeah, no one likes to come to Indiana.
Oh no, I love Indiana.
Oh, there you go.
Indiana's a good crowd. I feel like
And
artists
Peoria,
come here
Illinois.
and they're shocked, but it's like getting them here.
Shouts out to Peoria.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I've
So,
had good times in Indianapolis.
well, you'll have to hit us up next time you're in here for real.
Have you been to the Indianapolis 500?
No.
Oh my God, I don't know. We might be
August
too
now.
old now. We might be too old, but the snake
Is that
pit.
car racing?
Oh, it's car racing, but they have inside. There's
The Indy. Yeah. I didn't know that stood for Indianapolis.
Yeah, see, you're talking to Hoosiers now. See what happens?
Yeah, that's funny.
Yes, and they got that whole
I always
snake
thought
pit. It's
that
crazy.
Yeah. I just learned.
I thought it was interesting. You were kind of naming areas outside of New York, obviously, but that's like very outdoorsy. Is that because you're from Seattle and it's just mountains out there?
Must be.
Yeah,
It must be like a Pacific Northwest like hiking culture,
Right.
fucking weird connection.
Yeah,
Like Colorado, Washington, Montana are all places where I have big fan bases, and I don't know why. Maybe a lot of Seattle spreads or something.
right. Yeah, I spend a lot of time out in Oregon. My dad lives out there, so I'm pretty familiar with the Pacific Northwest. It's an awesome area.
It's so beautiful, man. I can't move. I love it too much.
Yeah, so we have about 3.5 minutes here on our end.
Awesome.
Is there anything upcoming that you want to talk about before we jump off here?
It's looking like the next thing coming is we're putting a new song with Raz that's not going to be on the album, but we're finally putting 5 Good Reasons onto streaming, and I really love that project. It holds a special place in my heart. So
Nice.
make sure you stream that and the new songs. Hopefully that all works out, and then the album is coming sooner than later. Just be on the lookout.
Yeah, well, what we heard of it, we love, and I think that it's going to be something really special. So
Awesome. Thanks so much. That means so much, man. It was really great to meet you guys.
nice to meet you too.
Yeah, thank you, Sam.
Absolutely.
So-
All right, are we saying goodbye?
Yep. So
Yeah.
real quick, we'll just say goodbye. We appreciate you taking the time. That was awesome, man. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks for doing our
connecting.
podcast, dude. We know that.
Really appreciate it. Thank you for listening to this stuff, and man, this was a great interview. Much
Yeah.
love.
Yep.
See
See
you,
you later,
brother.
man.
Peace.